Greetings. I'm going to make this another short one. This may be a little longer because this will discuss a couple people to let you know, people, please look at your system and just understand how corrupt your system is. Please understand they're super corrupt. Okay, Jeffrey Dahmer. How was Jeffrey Dahmer able to get away with killing so many people? You have to understand that we are involved in a system where our officials who have been hired and elected to protect us are literally sicking animals on the public, not just celebrities or politicians. They're sicking them on everybody, including our children. Here we got a little bit about Jeffrey Dahmer. So I want you to understand that. You see that what they do is they allow the worst vile people in the world to get away with their crimes for 13 years. Then they arrest them or kill them and make a movie about it because it's a way to keep us in constant fear. People were in fear when he was doing the killing, and then 13 years later after they kill him, then they'll make a movie out the guy, and people have to relive the fear all over again. Your system's doing it. Understand that Jeffrey Dahmer, there was multiple reports on him, and the neighbor called the police.
Hers was the voice of insistence, the voice of concern, the voice that fell on deaf ears. Tonight, Glenda Cleveland relives the frustration of being shut out by a police operator as she insisted the person being beaten was a child.
When I say what I have to say and I know it to be true, I don't feel that I have to constantly keep repeating myself. And I think that can be said for everyone.
Glenda Cleveland remembers the day Conorak died, remembers the police assurances that everything was okay. Did you start to doubt yourself?
I must admit I did. I did.
But do you feel they let that boy down that night?
Yes, they did. Yes. Yes, he was definitely let down. He was let down as low as he could get. And that was to his grave. You can't get much lower than that.
So, I want you to understand that she heard the boy getting killed. She heard the child, this is a kid too, getting beat to death. She called the police and said, hey, this guy, Jeffrey, has got a kid in here and he's beating them to death. And the police operator told her that she didn't hear what she was hearing, despite this woman being the neighbor who was there. The police told her that there was nothing to see here, nothing's going on. And all of the neighbors, like he got multiple complaints. This was going on for years. He got multiple complaints from his neighbors that his apartment smelled like dead bodies. Man, how does one become a serial killer and eat people in an apartment building? People are telling on him and the police did nothing about it. And look at the dates when he did this. Check it out. It's always they give me 13 years. Check it out. They said he was doing this from 1978 to 1991. 13 years, and then they went and got his ass. So you understand, they let him kill and eat gay black men, young gay black men for 13 years, and then decided, okay, we'll get him now. Case in point, we have a prosecutor, a state's attorney by the name of Marilyn Mosby. She's the prosecutor in the state of Baltimore, in the state of Maryland right now in Baltimore City. So understand, this guy right here is named Stephon Kenyon. Let me see. Let's do this. Boom. Oh, here it is. Okay, this guy right here. Stephen Kenyon. Funny enough, he used to work for me, and I trained with him a couple times. This nigga can fight. I mean, when I used to be out in the street fighting, I'm very glad I didn't run into his ass when I was out in the street because this nigga is on a different level. This nigga is a monster in every sense of the word. But if you're gonna come at this dude, you better come with 6 dudes. And this guy is 5'6", 130 pounds. But if you come for this dude, you better have 6 dudes who can fight, or you better have 3 dudes who got guns, because this dude is on a different level. But he's a pedophile. You understand? He's a pedophile, and he was touching children for guess how many years? You'll see for yourself. I want you to understand that he was convicted. He was convicted back in 2012 for molesting a child. Listen, he got a 14-year-old girl pregnant like 10 years ago. They removed it from his record. You understand? They removed this from this record. He's a teacher. He worked at all of the Baltimore City schools, and he had his dojo out in the county. So he had access to all of our babies in Maryland for 13 years. He impregnated a 14-year-old little girl, and he got convicted for it. If you pull him up, they erased all of it from his record, and there's no trace of it. Check it out. Like, here, check it out. Like, look what they did, man. Oh, man, it's terrible. Look what they did. Look what they did, man. This guy, here you go. And look how long he was doing it. It's always the same thing. They say more sex with child for more than a decade, right? Well, check it out. This is him right here. And look what they say about him. They say that regarding sexuality, assault, and preying on minors, there is nothing in his background check or fingerprint that precluded him from employment. They deleted and erased all of the records of this man who impregnated a 14-year-old little girl. I want you to understand they arrested him in 2022, right? How long has this been going on? Since when? Since 2009. Who knows how to count? Who knows how to count? They let this man have access to all of our children in Baltimore for 13 years, knowing full well he's a pedophile. He was convicted of it. He got a girl pregnant. You understand? He's walking around with the child from the girl he got pregnant. Everybody knew. The police knew. But most importantly, Marilyn Mosby, our prosecutor, our state's attorney, Marilyn Mosby, knows about this. She let this pedophile roam the streets for 13 years with our children. Our system is doing it to us. You don't have to believe me. Check it out. And I'm going to also show you about frequencies. Do not name your child Mark. Ever. Don't name your child Santana either. You name your child Mark, that's a terrible frequency to have. You name your child Santana, the child is going to experience a lot of pain. So if you like my name, like it, don't name your child Santana. It's a frequency that's a lot of pain in that frequency. Do not name your child Santana if you like my name. But this guy, Stephen Kenyon, look at this guy. He said 2009, he had a different relationship with a 14-year-old girl in 2009. You understand? That's 13 years ago. That's the one he got pregnant. Well, guess what? These frequencies and what you name your child matter. Check me out. Look at this guy here in the UK. This guy, over-friendly computer science teacher, touched a 14-year-old pupil's breast. 14 years old, you see? 14 years old. You dig? What's his name? What's his name? What's his name? You see his name? Why they got his name? Okay, let me get back up. I'm sorry. I know his name is here somewhere. There's his face. Stephen Kenyon, computer science teacher, touched 14-year-old pupil's breast. Stephen Kenyon touched a 14-year-old Stephen Kenyon. Check it out. Look at his name. They got the same name, Stephen Kenyon. Listen, this is a simulation that we're in. It's a mathematical equation, and clearly nobody sees it. It's frustrating because it's very obvious to me. But I want you to understand, Stephen Kenyon, ex-karate school instructor, and he's a pastor. So not only was he in the schools, He had a dojo out in the county, and he was in the churches. They keep on saying karate school guy because this is the story they want to build when they make their little movie. But understand, his name is Stephen Kenyon, and he touched a 14-year-old little girl breast. You got this cat in the UK. He's in England. Stephen Kenyon, 14-year-old. Listen, you can't make this up. This is real. We are in a simulation, and it's mathematical, and you have to understand it. I'm trying to tell you. So, does this sound strange that they let this guy get it with 13 years? That doesn't sound like anything that our system would do, right? But check me out. Why don't we look at this then? Since that sounds weird to you, you don't think our system would do something like that. Hey, babe. Shoot. Okay, well listen. I want you to see this. I apologize that I'm showing you like this, but I don't have a I don't know how to do it on my phone. Look what just happened. Look at this.
This article was published yesterday. Notorious cartel hitman disappears from U.S. prison system, leaving Mexico dumbfounded. Not only has he disappeared, but so has everything else about him in their database. It's disappeared also. He wasn't supposed to be released from prison until 2056. He is a notorious drug cartel leader and a hitman who likes to decapitate his victims. They're saying it's very strange what is going on over here with him, and they want answers. They want to know why he is no longer in the system. They need to know where he's at. They're saying that they don't know how this happened unless there was some kind of agreement. He was extradited here back in 2015 and sentenced to 49 years in prison, and he was being housed in Florida. Now he's just mysteriously gone, him and all his information in the database. Probably sitting in Russia right now, teamed up with Victor.
So, listen, I'm gonna find it for you. They are erasing the records of the criminals and unleashing them onto the public to make us fearful, so we need them. And they're gonna let them do as much harm as they want. Listen, they probably released this guy because he's king of a cartel, and they know I'm down here in Mexico between a cartel battle. But I want you to understand that our system works with the criminals. I want you to know that Marilyn Mosby allowed Stephen Kenyon to molest children for 13 years. And that's the reason why Marilyn Mosby, or what's our new state's attorney's name? His name is, what is his dumb ass name? His name is Ivan Bates. I want you to understand that the pedophilia ring that's taking place in Maryland comes out of the state's attorney's office. They are doing it. They're letting the pedophiles go and do what they want to do. The state is doing it. It's our government. They're letting these people on us, citizens. This isn't me. Look at this. These are demons, and they're in charge of our safety. But they're letting pedophiles in where our children live, man. So I understand y'all don't care for me. I don't give a fuck how you feel about me. But for the people who actually care about the well-being of children, I think you're going to care that they're letting the criminals out to terrorize us regular people, and they absolutely refuse to arrest them. Now, you see that the schools did a statement and said there was nothing in his background that precluded him from getting the job. Well, the reason why you know that's true is because he used to work for me. You understand? In the prison system, he had to get a full background check and a fingerprint check. The prison background check is a very extensive background check. It takes like 6 months before you can start working there. Well, he got through squeaky clean with the system knowing full well that he was a pedophile, and he was convicted of raping the girl and pedophilia, you understand? So I'm saying the system is creating our criminals and letting them wreak havoc, and then sticking them on us, and they give them 13 years to do it. I'm gonna see one more. Let me see. Jeffrey Dahmer. So you see again, Jeffrey Dahmer. He was doing it for 13 years. Then they arrested him. Then they kill him. Then they get to make a movie out of him. Stephen Kenyon. He was doing it for 13 years. They just arrested him. You better believe they're trying to make a story out of him by saying, you know, he's a karate teacher. No, he wasn't just a karate teacher. He was a pastor and a karate teacher. So they missed that part. You don't see anything about pastor anywhere, do you? You see anything about pastor? They keep telling you, look at all these kung fu pictures. You see? Because they made their character build. They decided we're going to say he was a pedophile kung fu teacher. But he's also a pastor too. You understand? But just like you see, Stephen Kenyon touched a 14-year-old breast. It's the frequency. So if you're not sure about this, well, let me just give you some advice. Do not name your child Stephen Kenyon, because odds are they're going to be raping a 14-year-old little girl. And if you were in Baltimore, Ivan Bates, our state's attorney, who is a crook, who's all, let's understand, if you want to know where the pedophile is hiding and who's hiding them, understand that Baltimore has 300 priests who have been convicted for pedophilia. But our prosecutor's office, you don't hear nothing about that. You don't see anything on TV about that. They're about to seal the records of the 300 priests from the Archdiocese in Maryland because of what? They're protecting the pedophiles. Who gets to seal them? Our system says these men who molested these little children, we're going to hide their identity from us so we don't have no way of knowing who did this to our children. I want you to understand your system is run by the devil, Satan himself. You understand? Like, you see this shit for yourself. But understand that they do this in 13-year patterns. And they allow people to wreak havoc. And they literally erase the records from their database so it shows that they don't have any crime. So, what I'm saying is, can we stop fighting about everything right now? Everything. And can we just look at our system and just how corrupt the system that we all operate under truly is? Can you dig it?